Okay, I am going to call to order the special meeting of the Darien Police Commission, the 2,450th said meeting. Call to order, do you want me to, no, that was, we were in executive session. Should I put that in a matter of the agenda? The Police Commission did meet at 2 o'clock today for the purpose of promotional interviews for the position of sergeant. We've since come out of that executive session and are now starting the public phase of our meeting. Call to order done. Acceptance of minutes.
To accept January 26th.
Second.
Any questions, comments, changes? All those in favor? Aye. Correspondence, Chief?
I think I noted this at our last meeting, but we did get another follow-up note from Rick Mead. Rick Mead was the son of Eleanor Mead, who was our long-serving part-time records clerk. So Chief Donald Anderson, Rick LaBella, Chip Stahl, and the entire Darien Police Department and staff. On behalf of my family, I would like to extend a sincere appreciation for all your friendship, love and support for my mom. Working at the Darien Police Department were some of her best times, and for that I will be forever grateful.
Very nice.
Send that along. And along with pastries and cookies too. Extra added attraction. The superintendent of schools, Dr. Adley, dropped off donuts on February 3rd for our folks. Again, much appreciated there. We have a letter from Charles Sherwood, who is the director of the South Central Criminal Justice Administration, thanking us for Captain Hadema's serving as a panelist for promotional interviews in Naugatuck. And as I explained to the commission before, this is something that's certainly worthwhile for our command and administrative staff to do. We can see where we kind of stack up against other departments, other people going to different ranks. So we certainly get a benefit by having our folks out there seeing what other departments are doing. So, duly noted as well. And the Mather House of Stephen Mather delivered lunch to the department on the 8th of February to the Darien Police Association. Darien Police Association donates to their organization up there, so they wanted to return the favor. And they brought lunch in for the staff, so much appreciated as well.
Okay, department activity, Captain is not here. Chief, is that you?
I'll read it today.
Oh,
Pinch hitting.
pinch hitting, Captain Dema.
Okay. On January 25th, the suspect shoplifted over $400 worth of seafood from Stop and Shop. On February 3rd, the front door of a West Avenue business was shattered. On February 3rd, the pickleball courts at Cherry Lawn were vandalized. On February 8th, a 53-year-old New York woman was arrested by warrant for criminal attempt at larceny first, criminal impersonation, money laundering, and identity theft for a fraudulent bank transaction she attempted to make at the Darien Bank in October of 2022. On February 10th, at approximately 3 p.m., Detective Benedetto observed two individuals acting suspicious in the area of Trader Joe's. Bystanders then indicated that the two individuals had just stolen a wallet and a cell phone from the store patron. Detective Benedetto took one subject into custody immediately. However, the other subject fled the scene on foot. Patrol officers quickly responded and were able to apprehend the second subject approximately a quarter mile away. As a result, two Queens, New York men were charged with larceny and several other related crimes, and each held on $75,000 bond. On February 11th, a 28-year-old Stanford woman was arrested by warrant for burglary and larceny she committed at Woodway Country Club in December of 2020. On February 15th, officers responded along with all Darien fire departments to the Weburn Country Club on a large fire in a storage and maintenance building. Dozens of golf carts, as well as other equipment, were destroyed. One employee was transported to the hospital for smoke inhalation. The fire department the fire is being investigated by the fire marshal's office, but no foul play is suspected at this time. On February 17th, at approximately 3:30 hours, an SUV pulled into Coach Lamp Lane and two unknown suspects entered unlocked vehicles. Suspects were gone by officers' arrival. Nothing of value was taken. Should be noted that suspect vehicle matched a stolen vehicle out of North Haven. North Haven PD contacted us later, reporting that their stolen vehicle was pinged to Coachland Lane. On February 20th, a catalytic converter theft on Christie Hill Road targeted vehicle was a Toyota Prius. There were 4 DUI arrests, 4 domestic disturbance incidents, 2 of which involved arrests. 3 separate incidents of personal checks being stolen from mailboxes and/or check wire fraud. There was 1 residential burglary. 3 stolen cars that were unlocked with the keys in it. During one incident, officers attempted to stop the car that had just been stolen. However, the vehicle fled the area at a high rate of speed, disregarding the signal of the officer. 3 motor vehicle burglaries, which involved windows being smashed. 2 were at Cherry Lawn on the same day, and 1 in the parking lot of a restaurant on Old Kings Highway North. There were 17 motor vehicle accidents, 4 involving minor injuries. There were 145 traffic stops conducted by the Patrol Division, and members of the command staff attended an active shooter tabletop exercise with over 200 other emergency management personnel employed throughout Fairfield County. The chief and Captain Marin attended a 2-day mental health first aid seminar the first week of February, and the department took delivery of our first unmanned aerial vehicle and associated equipment, which will be up and running shortly.
Just as an aside on a couple of these incidents, the Trader Joe's incident that Detective Benedetto was involved in, patrol and detective divisions worked very well together to get that to a successful conclusion. Obviously, these 2 guys were involved in these similar thefts across Fairfield and Westchester County because they got proceeds from similar crimes occurring in Trader Joe's and/or Whole Foods and other parts of the tri-state area. So that was a nice job done by everybody. And what was the other one I wanted to target? Unlocked vehicles. We've had a reprieve on unlocked vehicles being stolen. Unfortunately, it's picking back up again. Can't say it again. I can't say it enough. You gotta lock the cars. That's all I have to say on that.
Okay, we move to public comment. I assume you can go, or I assume it is on new business, traffic issues?
Yes.
Can you wait 1 second and we'll get to it? Awesome. Okay, let me get through old business. I think we'll be quick. Building issues update?
The only update on the building is we are in the process of getting the female locker rooms sorted out. We have a quote that we need to look at and approve to move forward.
Okay.
Again, women's locker room renovation will not be an inexpensive proposition. I'm quite certain that it will be in the 6 figures to get that resolved. So.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The net necessary given head count right now, plus,
No,
how
it's
many lockers are
necessary.
we adding? Do you recall?
7.
6 to 7.
So pretty material.
Has to be done.
It sure does.
And it's not as easy as just putting up sheetrock and
No, I
get our
know.
professionals involved. Just the design phase is going to be substantial.
Okay. I think we talked about it last time, but keep us posted.
Hiring, you want to? Oh, you're
Yep.
talking about the building.
Yeah. Update on hiring?
Hiring, Abigail Frazier started, we just hired her. She's in field training currently. We have 2 New York City laterals that we're waiting on their approval from Post regarding their training, but they should be starting, I think early to mid-March possibly. And then our last position that's open is probably going to be filled shortly as well. I can't say exactly, we're waiting on.
But
some
that person
further
has to
testing.
go to the academy.
Right.
In April? We have a
It's
spot in the
Yes, we
April
have a
class?
spot in April.
Great.
I don't know the exact date, but
Okay.
Excellent. That's more positive than usual.
And that brings us to full head count
Full
that brings
at
us to
51.
51.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Civilian dispatch, regional dispatch update. Chief, is that you?
Yeah, we are still attempting to get a full complement of civilian dispatchers here. Commission well knows this has been well over a decade, and we're still trying to achieve our complement of 9. The conversation on regional dispatch never really goes away of whether or not it would be a viable option for the town of Darien. I think the commission knows my feeling on civilian dispatch, that I think we can do it better in-house, setting aside the monetary aspect of it, which I know is always part of the equation. But I think that, the town of Darien residents and visitors here expect a level of service that I'm not sure that we would get with regional dispatch. That said, it is an option that I'm keeping open, to recommend to the commission that we, keep that in our hip pocket as a possibility, that someday it may be mandated for one, or someday that our program just, at some point, if we cannot get it off the ground, at some point we have to fish or cut bait. So I just want to keep you up to date on that. The dispatchers did want the ability to work midnight overtime through discussions with their union and the town hall and the town administrator. They do have the option to work midnight overtime, although we don't have anyone assigned to midnights permanently now. They can work midnight overtime, and they can split the shifts on midnight, so they can split 2 different dispatchers, can work 4 hours each. I haven't seen so far a big appetite for taking that overtime, but that is available to the dispatchers. So we'll keep cracking on trying to get dispatchers in
And
there.
offices are staffing that position by midnight.
Right, for the most part.
Just as we talk about headcount, I just want people to be aware of that.
Okay. New business.
Officer Kristen Hunt is off of probation effective February 3rd, so I do have the formal documentation for the commissioners to sign. By all accounts, she's doing a fine job for us. An excellent pickup for the Darien Police Department, and I can wish her continued success. And she knew she was off probation. She came in and asked us, but Rick LaBella was one step ahead of her, already had the paperwork ready to go, so she's doing a fine job.
That is good to hear.
So potential for radio encryption.
That is next.
I just want to have, an open dialogue on radio encryption. A lot of police departments have radio encryption where their radios are only heard by other radios in the police department. People with digital scanners or, apps on their phone, or they can't hear police department transmissions. There are some things that we do that really, should be circumspect, and they should be fairly quiet on the radio. We've been talking about radio encryption for as long as I've been here, right? And so far we are not encrypted. I would like to see the ability somehow, and I know all the ins and outs electronically, have the ability to go encryption only for those times when we need to. For example, the state of Connecticut has rules about what you can and cannot put out over the air. There's some medical information that's not supposed to go out over the air. There's criminal histories that are not supposed to go out of the air, over the air. So there's things that we really have to be circumspect on talking about. So Chip Fatone worked on our radios for years and years and years. As you know, he retired several years ago. Joe Cusano took the reins from Chip, and he's trying to make sure that our radios are still up and running, that we have things repaired when they need to be repaired. He brought forth the encryption issue, so I just wanted to get out in front of it now to start the discussion on whether or not we will go to encryption at some point in the near future or in the future, how much it would cost, and what the ways we can accomplish that is.
Is that a town-by-town decision?
That's a town-by-town decision, right? So.
And there's clear guidance from the state in terms
Yes,
of what they
that's it.
want over the air and not over the air.
Yeah, there's some things in your collect training that are not supposed to go out over the air. And there's, quite frankly, there's some things that when we're dispatching officers, to some things that might not really need to be known by the general public, that you want to be able to, right? If someone's coming to your house for some issue, do you always want your neighbor knowing why you're coming there, right? So I think that we can probably find a happy medium on encryption. I do think that we might get a little pushback from folks thinking, well, we're not the secret police, right? We're not hiding anything. but I'm looking at it from a perspective of some things just shouldn't be out over the
But
radio.
to be clear, you're also saying using it opportunistically, in line with the guidance from the state, protecting personal
Yeah,
information, things
if
of that
we
nature.
can-
It's not a consistent 24/7
Yeah.
encryption.
My proposal would be, and my hope would be, that we could use that only in those times when we want to have something that shouldn't go out over public airways.
Just to be clear, this is standard operating procedure currently for many of the towns in and around us.
Sure, many towns have encryption. Some do go in and out, some of them are encrypted all the time, right? So, in Darien, we might get a little conversation from other emergency services about, they kind of rely on our radio transmissions to get little heads up. Fire department, EMS, right, if they hear that we're getting dispatched somewhere, they can hear it maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds before their dispatch comes in. So certainly the conversation can be had, but we're going to take steps and see where we're going to end up on this.
Well, so it's just starting a conversation about it.
Yeah, I mean, I really need experts to tell me, if you want X, this is what it will cost to get X, or this is how you get X, and make sure that it works properly. So,
My understanding is that the system that we have now has the capability for it, right? We just need to enable it? Is that?
there's two
Sure.
different levels of encryption.
Okay.
Our radios, I'm not sure all of our radios, the majority of our radios are capable of basic encryption. It is not as secure as of course, the one that you have to pay additional for. So again, these are the kind of the questions that I don't have the answers to, that I need to find out before we can really have a cogent conversation on where we're headed.
So again, this is public notice that we're starting the discussion.
And the potential for encryption of radio transmissions. Yep.
So we will continue to discuss it, I imagine. Sidewalk sales 2023?
No real change in the sidewalk sales. I don't think there's anything here that you need to sign.
Okay.
But we would just need police commission, this is your packet
Yep,
as well.
all right.
Police commission approval for sidewalk sales, July 13th, 14th, 15th. Again, they're asking for benevolence as far as setting up on sidewalks downtown. This has been going on
Forever.
since, the Mayflower was selling something downtown, so it's never an issue for us, so
Okay.
I would recommend we approve it.
Yes, I will make a motion that we approve Darien's annual sidewalk sales event to be held January 13th, 14th, and 15th downtown, July, did I say?
I don't think they get too many people
July.
in January
Not
for
to-
sidewalk sales.
July 13, 14, 15. Second,
Sorry.
any questions, comments? All those in favor? Okay. License plate readers, Commissioner Hayes, you want to start or John? Captain, anyone?
Yeah, I'll kick off the conversation. Similar to what you just said, Chief, just want to do just that, kick off a conversation about license plate readers. A couple of our neighboring towns, New Canaan for one example, Stanford as another example, and it seems like other towns throughout Connecticut, some that are listed here, West Hartford, Hartford, Glastonbury, Manchester, Norwich, and the list continues to go on. So it seems like many of these towns have been implementing license plate readers, particularly at the entrances to their town. So just want to have an overall conversation around this. Do you think that this would be helpful? We mentioned, as Captain Udem went over the list, stolen vehicles. It could be an Amber Alert. It could be helping out with investigations, things of that nature. Is this a conversation that we should have with the other town officials, the Board of Selectmen, for example, and potentially implementing license plate readers? We have it on one patrol car, I think, today. But would that be helpful in reducing crime, potentially, in Darien? Helping with investigations, helping reduce crime. Any other thoughts?
Well, there is no doubt that will help with investigations. And we have had many investigations here in Darien assisted by license plate readers, either our own mobile license plate reader or license plate readers from adjoining towns who give us the information that we need. So, there is some factions that would say this is big brotherish, right? New Canaan implemented it fairly successfully within the last year. They have them, I believe, in all their parks. And we talked about the smashed windows at Cherry Lawn Park, in the last few weeks. That would be something, if there was a license plate reader there, we would be able to see most likely what car was involved.
And my understanding is New Canaan is actually doing it around all the entrances coming into the town as well. Having spoken to Flock, who implemented it for them.
Flock Technologies is a big national vendor of fixed license plate readers. They have a subscription service. They own the equipment, you lease the equipment. So they install the equipment, they maintain the equipment. Many agencies across the country are using Flock for their fixed license plate
I think
readers.
Stanford's using it a little more extensively now as well.
I don't know how many they have. They have more than a dozen for sure.
Yeah.
Are these mobile? I mean,
No.
so you figure out where you wanted them, they get affixed there. It's not like some of the things we put up can be moved around.
These are 100% stationary.
They are stationary, and once you pick your spot, that's your spot.
The
Yeah.
state of Connecticut is putting them up across the state in different locations where they have high crime. Municipalities, Bridgeport, of course, has them. Hartford has them. Waterbury has them.
Yeah, speaking with one of the representatives, I don't remember the county, and I don't remember where in the states it was, but they actually saw a 60% reduction in crime. I can't tell you if that was a small city, if it was a municipality similar to our size or whatnot, but they seem to be very effective.
You know, it's always clear to let the public know too, what they are and what they're not, right? They're not speed detection cameras. They're not taking they're not taking pictures for enforcement purposes, right? Now, if we had a stolen car or a car that came into Darien, if we had such an LPR that was wanted for a homicide, yes, the thing would come up that this car just came into your town. Stolen car just crossed over from Norwalk into Darien in almost real time. So, you know, it's a long history in the United States that if you're in the public, on a public street, a public sidewalk, a public place, you have no real expectation of privacy. So, but some people will say this is another step forward beyond that.
Well, you know, we talk about investigations, you know, we've had bank robberies here before, most recently, what, a year and a half ago or so? You know, if you have a description of the vehicle, and it's not even just the license plate reader, but you can identify the description of the vehicle, and if the camera picks up on it, or these cameras are all connected from town to town, if that person went into New Canaan, you can see that they just crossed over into New Canaan at whatever, 1:32 p.m., and you can pursue them accordingly. So,
I'm not adverse to license plate reader technology. I think just
So a next step would be costing it, or,
we get a presentation from a company that
From a
would come
company.
in. We can have somebody from another municipality come in and give us their experience on how it went. Any public.
yeah, I'd like
Push
to
back?
suggest maybe a presentation from Flock, maybe
Yeah.
come down here during the
Well,
next meeting. The cost is, I believe, $2,500. It's if you lease them. There's an initial cost of $300 per camera. I'm sure we can negotiate the latter a little bit. Their costs are going to go up, but we can reserve the $2,500.
I don't think there's any reason not to get a presentation. We don't have to move forward, but
At least
makes
learn more
sense
about it.
to learn about it.
Maybe
so-
invite the Board of Selectmen to that presentation as well.
All right. Brent, I assume you will communicate with Flock
Yep.
or
I'll
Chief?
take care of that.
Okay. Be interesting to hear what they have to say. Employee referral program?
Yeah, so one of the things I'd like to suggest for consideration for the commission is, you know, there's a lot of difficulty in law enforcement recruiting officers these days. We're at full staff, we're fortunate to be at full staff. It's been a little while for that, just due to retirements and, again, other things that have made it difficult in recruiting. Other police departments in Connecticut and actually throughout the country are implementing their employee referral program. So it could be a more efficient way of getting officers here, officers that we know, you know, maybe going through the academy as well. And what I like to do is use the alarm fund for that. I would suggest if we have an employee, if we hire somebody that's through a referral, one of our employees, they successfully, and if we have any changes to this, we can talk about it now, but if they successfully go through their probation, then we award that employee $1,000 out of the alarm fund. Any additional thoughts on that, or?
So it would be laterals or new hires?
Laterals
Either
or new hires,
Either one.
yeah.
We don't discriminate.
And as long as they make it through their field training or,
Yeah, past their probationary
Yeah.
period. I think it's a great idea.
No issues.
No issues.
And we have had good success with people telling their peers that this is a good place and a good municipality to work with, work for. So I don't really see any downside.
No, I don't either, and even though we are at full complement, we are lucky to be there, and it's taken us a while to get there. Hiring these days is not getting easier, so if we can get good referrals from our current officers, that is just a win-win, if you ask me.
Yeah,
Good
and
use of
again,
our
we're-
alarm fund money.
Yeah, and we see this not only in the corporate world, but you see in other police departments.
Yeah, I
as
would
well.
think so, at this stage.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need do we need a motion for that, or when it comes up? We certainly don't have anybody right now.
Yeah,
So-
I would think that a motion would be the way to go, and then to implement that program. And then when it does come up, it's available, it's in play.
So it's ready to go.
Would we communicate that to the staff, chief?
Sure. You know, we'll have to set up some parameters and some, well-defined rules, So you just don't see the guy on the way in and say, hey, by the way, I don't know, I never met you before today, but tell him I sent you here. I'm always thinking like an investigator.
We need the elementary school yearbook that says, you have been friends for life.
Captain, you can be on top of that.
Yeah.
We can get some easily,
Well, do you want to wait till we have language and something to, or should we?
Per the parameters of the chief, we'll give him discretion
Okay.
as to latitude on that one, right?
All good, all right.
maybe I can find somebody.
I make a motion that we institute an employee referral program to chief's parameters, but basically $1,000 out of the alarm fund for any employee that recommends an officer, either lateral or new hire, that makes it through the probationary period.
Second.
So
Just the only thing is, sir, should we review it? We will review it in a year or two. I don't want to make it forever and ever, but that's the only question. I don't know if the alarm fund will always be what it is, but, all right, any other questions, comments? All those in favor? Tour of the police department for the Oxford School PTA raffle prize.
I approve this, just so the commission knows. I mean, I guess the tour of the police department is a sought-after raffle prize.
I bet it
at the
is.
Oxford PTA, so we'll be more than happy to give a Oxford student and their parent and/or guardian a tour of the police department.
What'd it go for?
I don't know, this hasn't actually gone on.
We get off free here. Cheap. I get to come for free. It's a raffle prize, so maybe it's just one of
Citizen
the,
Police Academy sold out right
Yes.
away.
Sold out.
Popular place.
okay. Traffic issues. Thank you for your patience on weighing through all the other things. The blue and yellow road race. Captain, do you want to?
Hello, my name is Tatiana Koporska. We did this last year.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard about it.
I did.
And it was a pretty successful event. We had a lot of participants. And we just want to do another one this year, just a little bit earlier. We want to do it on May 21st. It's Sunday at 8:30 a.m. And the only thing we would like to ask if you can change the road, and what's your comment on that? If not, then we'll keep the old one. So the road, if we can change it, so it will go straight from Pier 3 Beach down the road and then follow the stop sign, going on the Woodland Road and turn around at the Sandvik Road. And it's going to be 2.5 kilometers at the Sandvik and coming back 2.5 again. So it will be start and finish line at the same place. Because the previous one we had to start and finish in different places. It was a little bit not as understandable for participants. It was kind of a little bit confusing.
And where did you start and finish last time?
We started up, what was the road?
Long
Neck Road, yeah. We started at Long Neck Point, up on top, and then we finished at the Pier 2. But we had double round of like two loops. We had to finish the race. But this time we asked if we can go. I can show you. Do you want me to bring it to you? This time we would ask if it's possible for us to do it starting on the Pier 3 Beach and going down through the stop sign all the way to the Good Wives Road and turning around at the Sandvik Road.
So you would go onto the post road?
No.
No.
Oh,
sorry.
Just start at Pear Tree Beach, run along, go through the stop sign down to,
It's like a little fork of
Yes,
two
yes,
roads.
yes.
Yeah, it's not, it's,
Okay.
it's.
and then just turn around and come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
Down Good Wives, turn around and come back.
I have a map here, if it helps, I can bring it to you. Do you mind?
sure. Yeah.
So what was the date last year that we approved?
July.
July 10th.
We were July 10th.
Thank you.
So we're changing July 10th, and you want it May, and that was a Sunday as well?
Yes, it was Sunday as well.
May 21st.
I'm looking here to see.
Yep.
I don't know when Mother's Day is.
Mother's Day's a week before.
Week before.
Week
Yeah.
before.
And the Memorial Day is week after, so.
It's the week after.
And the park is
We're not
closed.
we're not triple
And
booking.
the town park is
Right.
closed, yeah, still, so it's not.
My only question is, I mean, I know it's not very long, but Good Wives River Road is a very narrow, dicey. I mean, it's only going to Sunswick and back, so it's not
It
very
doesn't go where
long.
yeah, it doesn't go where it's starting to get windy. It's just
Yeah,
stops
no,
right
I-
before it gets too windy.
Yes, no, I'm very familiar with,
It just seems, I don't know, it just seems for us a little bit nicer, so people can ride around through there, like, along the river and coming back as well.
yeah, no, it's, I'm not the person that has to manage the traffic, so I'm gonna leave it to,
We
You
approve it
all?
with the discretion of.
if it's okay with you guys, it's certainly okay with me.
I think the only difference would be how many officers we need to hire for traffic control.
Yeah, that's-
Because versus just that one loop, you can cut it right at the end.
Yeah.
Now we have all the side, like, I think there's only one or two side streets down there that we'd have to.
Well, Salem Straits, and they're turning around
Yeah.
at Sunswick, so those are
Right.
really the only two,
So maybe one more officer, we'd have to see.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, you would need somebody, I think, at the turnaround. We
Yeah.
do, the only thing with an out and back, and I was telling to Tanya about that, we do the 4th of July race in New Canaan, that's out and back on West Road. And once the runners make the turn, they're essentially blocked, the road's blocked.
Right.
Until the
Yes.
last person comes around.
Right.
Whereas if you're running a loop course, you can leave the inner lane open, so that's just a consideration.
well, you know what, can I conditionally approve it, and you can kind of study
Mhm.
whether it makes sense to go, because that is gonna close
Good luck for the-
Good Wives River Road for some period of time, where Long Neck Point doesn't, anyway. So I'm gonna let you figure out the route. Does that make sense? All right, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the Blue and Yellow Road Race, May 21st, 8:30 a.m., leaving the routing up to the department. Second? Any other questions?
The only caveat is we'll make sure that our list, that we have no other events that day.
Yes,
I don't think we do. I don't have the list in front of me.
okay.
Yeah,
So
as a fallback, we could use I mean,
Previous.
the traditional route there has been, I mean, the runners like that because they start at the top of the hill. and then
But you,
fly.
I'm not sure why they couldn't start at the beach and just do 2 laps and end at
Well,
the beach.
that's longer.
Oh,
It just-
Actually,
See, that was my question too, like, why couldn't we have, finish, but we had it mapped that way, so we couldn't change it.
well,
I started about halfway up that hill.
It could, but it's just like a lack of couple feet to be on exact mileage, on exact kilometers.
Yeah, no,
That's why
I-
We had it, so it was,
totally understand all the moving parts, but we're balancing that with traffic. But again, I will let you guys determine.
Yeah, we'll play around.
what's our next step? Should we come over to you and just confirm with the road, or?
Yeah, maybe check back in like 2 weeks or so.
Mhm.
Well, let's, we can check May 21st to make sure that that's the
Right,
date.
but
And
if
then
you
the,
wanna, yeah, contact Captain Marin. He runs all the
Right,
road
yeah.
races.
Okay,
And just, I would say check back in 2 weeks and you should
okay, got
be
it.
able to figure it out by then.
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you. Memorial Day Parade, DOT highway use permit required.
I have the request to the state DOT.
Okay,
No changes in,
since the
route.
Mayflower. Okay,
We'll get that into the state. Rick will send it in to get our permit.
we will be marching on Monday of Memorial Day.
Yes, we will.
Okay. Good job. Old Kings Highway South Bridge Project.
The DPW is rehabbing the bridge on Old Kings Highway South in from the Post Road. That is going to take a approximately 3-week closure. So we will need legal traffic authority approval to close Old Kings Highway South at the bridge over the Stony Brook River. You know, if you go in off the Post Road, you go down where we put the new signage.
I was just
go
gonna
past
say, right
Glen
where we
Gulga,
were worried about
that-
traffic being
That bridge
fast.
is right there on the corner.
There's gonna be no traffic.
There'll be no
Forget-
traffic for 3
Forget
weeks.
speeding traffic.
That's the bridge, okay, I was wondering where it was.
So
Yes,
residents will be
Happy
able,
about- well, one of the
Yes,
reasons.
no. exactly.
residents will be able to get to their house, if it's on this side from the Post Road,
Yeah.
they'll be able to get to their house from the other side.
But it's only 3 weeks. We're not talking 3
3-week
months or
period.
3 years or
No,
what
3-week
some of these
period.
other hideous
In the summer.
plans have been.
Gotta get done, right?
It has to be done, right?
Yeah.
The bridge has to be rehabbed, so it's kind of a formality, but we do need approval to close it.
All right. Motion to approve? Motion to approve Old Kings Highway South being closed for the bridge project approximately 3 weeks. So-
Motion.
So,
Anything else? Here's our map.
And the good thing from the DPW is they do give us a proper signage plan.
Yes, they do.
Other contractors, we don't always get the right signage plan. The DPW, Darren Ostafine is always on top of it to make sure that it's right.
Okay, all those in favor? Lawrence Funeral Home traffic cones.
Yeah, so for quite some time, we've been putting out traffic cones, assisting Lawrence Funeral Home when they have big funerals, which they do on a regular basis. They put cones out on Du Bois Street and a few on the corner of the Post Road, just to keep that intersection from getting jammed up and causing line of sight issues. They asked if they could purchase their own cones and deploy those cones on the corner when they needed to. I don't see any downside to that. I did ask them that they would just let us know when they were deploying them. It's not traffic control per se. It is simply keeping people from parking where they shouldn't be parking anyway by statute, within 25 feet of the corner. But it is problematic. Du Bois Street's very tight and they got a big funeral, so I told Jed Lawrence that I would bring it to the commission, but my recommendation would be let them put cones out when they need to. Frees up our folks and we don't have to deploy the cones and pick them up every time.
I'm pretty
Okay,
sure
we
Jed
always
can
do.
figure out when he needs the cones
Yeah.
and not needs the cones. Do we need a motion, or are you just telling us
Nope.
that?
That one, I don't
Okay.
think we need legal traffic approval, just other than the fact to let you know that I approved that for them.
That is perfectly fine. Okay, we are a special meeting. We have no ability to add anything, so with that, we will come up with our next meeting, and then we shall be
I don't have time.
done. Do we have I see the calendar. Hold on. We are here on Tuesday. I have conflicts on a lot of Thursdays, I will tell you. Can we do it? We're all together on March 9th. Shall we powwow March 9th?
I'll stand by.
Ninth works for me.
Have a little
What time?
cake? Oh, I don't know.
4?
4 o'clock? Anyone?
That's fine with me.
Let me see.
We will
I will
definitely
be
be.
done the last week of March, the 27th, just FYI. I don't think I have anything planned.
4 o'clock, March 9th, got it.
Waiting for the big dog over here.
Okay, I'm just looking at.
Yes, I
I'm looking
understand.
at the event that is being held that day and what time it started, so.
I already looked.
Yeah.
All right. 4 o'clock, March 9th. With that, we are adjourned.